around in the deep roads made us a fortune. The champion moved up in the world, literally. Bought a mansion in Hightown. Everyone knew who she was now. Even the Viscount was taking notice. I felt responsible for Bethany's death. She was a good girl, and met a bad end. 3 years later, the qunari still hadn't left. The qunari insisted they were waiting for their ship. But some of us knew better.
The compound was not meant to be permanent. There are concerns the qunari influence is no longer contained.
Was it ever? Krikwall has tension enough between Templar and Mage. But these qunari, they sit like gargoyles waiting for Maker knows what, and everyone goes mad around them. Nearly 4 years I've stood between fanatics. And now, this.
Don't keep us in suspense.
Leave us. Meredith at my throat, Orsino at my heels, and a city scared of heretical giants. Balance has held because the qunari ask for nothing. Even the space in Lowtown was a gift to contain them. But now, the Arishok has requested you. By name. What did you do?
I can't help it if I make an impression.
Apparently not. I remember how you helped my son. It seems you are meant to have influence above your station. Speak to the Arishok. Give him what he needs to keep the peace. Can you do that for Krikwall, Sirrah Hawke?
Any idea what I can expect?
None. Honestly, I don't think I've heard 2 direct words from the Arishok. Other than his rather deliberate phrasing of begone. If you think his asking me to notify you of this is strange, well, you would be right.
The qunari usually arrive as conquerors. Odd that this has gone on so long.
Very, and I have no interest in antagonizing them. That is partially why I suffer being a messenger today. A treaty exists, and it has been honored. Although...
You have doubts?
They claim they're waiting for a second ship. But it has been 3 years. They want something else.
Sounds like you'd be better off without this headache.
They will not leave, and we don't have the resources to force the issue. At least, not in a way that would leave the city intact. If they had come to conquer, I suspect they would have done so.
I'm always willing to assist.
Well, that is an attitude this city has lacked for a long time. Appease the Arishok. Take his demand and let him return to dormancy. As awkward as this has been, it is better than the alternative.
We'll need to give them answers by tomorrow, Captain.
I'll have them. Dismissed.
The Seneschal was particularly vocal.
Dismissed. You'd think the Captain of the Guard could requisition a Templar or 2, but no, that would be demeaning. Can't have them working for the people when eternity needs a nanny.
That's why I remain unimportant. Less pressure.
As if the return of the Elves hasn't set Hightown on its ear.
As long as it's off its ass.
Sure, have your fun. But the coin you poured into Krikwall tipped what balance there was.
I didn't realize I was making it worse by getting ahead.
I'm just harassing you. Although you are a bit like the center of a hurricane. You've changed fortunes for many people, not always for the better.
Sounds like you're spreading yourself pretty thin.
There are a lot of people in my charge. Someone has to look out for them.
You guard the guardsmen?
I don't turn people loose like Jevon. There's additional training, doubled patrols. Costs are up, but I've halved injuries. I'll take it and argue with Seneschal Bran later.
After the last captain, you couldn't have expected this to be easy.
At least I had the guards on my side. Once they understood, they rallied. And those who didn't weren't fit to hold the crest. Stack friends against the enemies. I don't know if I came out ahead, but it's for the better.
Grouse all you want. But the Aveline I know doesn't regret a second as captain.
They'd have to drag me out of here. And I'm sure some are lining up to try. You among them, I bet. Haven't had much time to follow you around. Not that I need to. I can trust that you at least try to do right.
It's like you haven't moved in 3 years.
It's easier for people to find me this way. Do you remember the relic I told you about? The one I need to find? I've been following a lead. I'm so close I can taste it.
Isn't that what you said last time?
Oh, you mean when I went digging for that stash?
Yes. That turned out to contain several badly written poems and an old boot.
It could have contained the relic. I just thought I'd let you know that I may soon be taking you up on that offer of help.
And here I was hoping you'd forgotten.
If I learn anything new, you'll be the first to hear about it.
You have got to hear this, Hawke. There's this tale making the rounds. They're saying you single-handedly fought off a pirate invasion at midnight on the sacred ground of the Chantry.
Don't the stories mention my stunning good looks? What about my cunning wit?
Nope, they skip straight to the part about the lovable dwarf with the gorgeous crossbow and the heart of gold. I try to steer them straight, but you know how stories go. Just don't be surprised if people seem in awe.
What compels you to spin these ridiculous tales?
I love the sound of my own voice, and I'm a compulsive liar. Honestly, I don't know. It's just something I do. There's power in stories, though. That's all history is. The best tales, the ones that last. Might as well be mine.
I find it hard to believe you're spreading these stories without getting something in return.
Well, that just shows what you know, Hawke. The stories are their own reward. You really need to see the look on someone's face when I tell them you ripped the arms off an ogre. Just once.
Wouldn't it make more sense for you to be the main character in these tall tales of yours?
There's a recipe to a good hero, Hawke. It's like alchemy. 1 part down to earth, 1 part selfless nobility, 2 parts crazy, and you season liberally with wild falsehoods. You let that percolate through a good audience for a while, and when it's done, you've got your hero.
I guess all works. A little reverence wouldn't hurt, though.
You're beautiful, deadly, and hang out with fantastic dwarves. It would be a crime if people didn't talk about you. Anyway, I'll quit exaggerating before it goes to your head.
And that will, stop the itch.
Yes. Though I would stay away from women you meet in the port. Pirates tend to dock in unsavory places.
I heard that.
Just use the salve if it comes back.
Excuse me.
Things just keep getting worse. I had Templars practically on my doorstep the other night.
Don't tell me these things. I might have to lock you up to keep them off you.
Sweetheart, I'm not letting anyone lock me up. You included. The Knight Commander is out of control. Even her own people have been talking about it. The curfews, the midnight raids on mages' families. Everyone I know forced into hiding so they won't be made tranquil.
If they want you, they'll have to come through me.
Just being with me puts you at risk. The Knight Commander has declared supporting apostates a hanging offense. The thought of them hurting you, everything I've done to control this. I don't care. I would drown us in blood to keep you safe.
You don't think we should start with flowers? Jewelry?
If that's the man you're looking for, You're in the wrong place. There will be more violence. I know that. If you tie yourself to me, I'll only hurt you.
You keep saying that. You haven't yet.
You could have a normal life. You don't want to be with an apostate. Don't tempt me. Not unless you're ready for what that means.
You are Hawke. A patrol went missing along the Wounded Coast. The Arishok says you have some semblance of honor. So tell me, did you kill them?
If I did kill them, why would I tell you? You'd just attack me.
I seek an answer to a question. What has happened to the missing Karatam? Vengeance is not relevant to this task.
I can't be your only suspect. There's Coterie, Carter, Templars. Take your pick.
You think the boss in this city could fell a Karatam? Hardly. You are another matter. If you are not responsible, I waste my time here.
Hey, I think I knew that man back in Antiva. Bye!
Sarah Hawke.
Yes?
Last we met, I did not know your name. Did not care to. You have changed your fortune over the years. The qunari have not. I offer a courtesy, Hawke. Someone has stolen what he thinks is the formula for Gatlok. You will want to hunt him.
I got next to nothing from our last deal. Solve your own problem.
Thousands will die. The stolen formula was a decoy. Sarkamek, a poison gas, not explosives. A small amount is dangerous enough to your kind, but if made in quantity, perhaps by someone intending to sell it.
That merchant, Javaris.
Would he be cautious? Or would he assume success and make enough to threaten a district? A courtesy, Hawke. You will want to hunt him.
Any idea where we can find Javaris?
I heard about a sell-off. Merchant territories and such. They don't do that unless someone left in a hurry. I'd have figured he'd rooked some noble. He's sure not a burglar.
Just tell me where he is.
I haven't kept up on the squirt. Ask the coterie.
Panahedon, Hawke. It will be interesting to see if you die.
You're glaring, Anders. Is there a reason, or is it one of your moods?
Your term as captain hasn't been particularly mage-friendly.
I've only turned a handful over to the Templars.
Every despot starts somewhere.
And yet I allow an abomination to whine at me. Credit where it's due.
You're selling the assets of Javaris Tintop?
We are. Limited districts, limited contracts. Keeps territory clear and separate from the start. He had a meager lot, but he skipped with dues outstanding. So up it goes.
Sounds like he's made a few friends. Can one of them point me his way?
Ask that about anyone else, I'd have you thrown out. This one, he owes me too. Javaris left in a hurry. I'd put him at Smuggler's Cut if he's avoiding patrols. It empties at a cave outside town. Tell him I said, don't come back.
That's enough! Let's finish this! Get back! That any way to greet an old friend?
You? Granny's garters, she would hire you. I can't buy a break on discount. You know what? Go ahead. Take my head and pike it back to that sodding elf. I need the rest.
You brought this on yourself. Who else would steal their powder?
Wait. You're tracking for the qunari? Then she did it. That elf got them after me for nothing. Bitch born.
The obvious thief was perhaps a bit too obvious.
Look, I'm minding business, same old. And out of the blue, some elf tries to kill me. Says she's got the qunari powder and I'm her cover. I slipped her, hired some bodyguards, and ran for it. And now you're here. Great.
So far, all I see is you.
Leaving the other person behind is the first step in running away. Sorry if that's inconvenient. Here. You want to drag Dark into light? I had a man follow her. The elf's in Lowtown. I just want to get out with my dead guards. Thanks for that.
Sounds like you have a long way to go. Hopefully.
Right. Got me a rosy future to plan out. Think I'll start by selling some boots. Sodding bunch of... Take a long breath on a short shaft, you blasted dog-lord inroaders.
All of you. I can't fight the damned air. You want to live. Stay out.
What's going on, Mason?
Guard Captain, there's... I can't even describe.
On your time, son.
Reports of some haze with a stench of rust and throw-up. There was a cloud, then a lingering mist. Anyone caught in the cloud just went bad. Then the others just wretched themselves dead.
All right, keep your post. We'll take it from here. He's a good man. Trust that it's as bad as he says.
How about we skip this one? Send your man instead.
How about I shove a canary up your coal mine? Let's go.
So, your fault, I presume?
Is that... Sirrah Hawke? You have enemies. I'm glad it's you, really. These poor people. You are a much better target.
Explain yourself, now.
Qunari take my people. My siblings forget their culture, then go to the Qun for purpose. We're losing them twice. So I get some help from your people. We'll take the Qunari thunder, make some accidents, and make them hate it. But this is all wrong.
Only one thing to do with a mad dog.
It can still work. They're hidden in your city. They'll enrage the faithful and make sure the Qunari are blamed. Me, I'm finished. I just need a few more bodies. A few more.
You'll need to know about this.
So, I was wrong about our thief.
You'll get used to it.
They say we were careless with our trap, that this is our fault. But even without the Sarkamek, there would have been death. This elf was determined to lay blame at our feet. Selfishness, want, denial. How do you allow this to continue?
If you won't talk straight, then we won't talk.
Hold. Since we arrived, I have seen nothing but greed and weakness. Dwarves, humans, elves, just festering. No order, no goal. You are one of the few I have met with any ability. And yet this too was random, a result of selfishness. I cannot fathom how a mire like this can be justified. You turned from me, Do you turn as easily from all this chaos?
I agree. It's a mess.
But you don't see that as a problem?
I see it as an opportunity, and I intend to take full advantage.
Karisten are soldiers. The Qun made it so. They can never vary from that assigned path, never be other than they are meant to be. But they are free to choose within that role, to accept and succeed, or deny and die. Glory is clear and defined. It is an undeniable certainty. What full advantage can you take without that authority?
Have you come here to proselytize? To convert?
No. Foundering here was unexpected. I have purpose other than watching you rot. Your kind may force our role to change, if the Qun demands.
She was angry to see her people losing their culture by claiming yours.
We accept those who submit to the Qun. The weak naturally seek the strong. It doesn't matter. We did not come equipped to indoctrinate. I am here to satisfy a demand you cannot understand.
It's taking long enough.
It will take as long as needed. No ship is coming. There is no rescue from duty to the Qun. I am stuck here.
You keep going on about that, but never say anything.
Should I argue the wind? Very well. Filth stole from us. Not now, not the Sarkamek. Years ago. A simple act of greed has bound me. We are all denied Parvolin until I alone recover what was lost under my command. That is why this elf and her shadows are unimportant. That is why I do not simply walk from this pustule of a city. Fixing your mess is not the demand of the Qun, and you should all be grateful! Thank you, human, for your service. Leave.
He's on the edge. The Viscount should know.
Years of nice, quiet anxiety. Gone. Along with a whole street.
An accident on purpose, more or less.
Right. A mad elf pushed by zealots, likely hidden in the very groups I have to appease. The Maker has a grand sense of humor. And the Arishok. I suspected he had no plans to leave. I didn't know it was just as annoying for him.
You could send him gold and he'd complain it was heavy.
And it's about to get worse. A shame. There were overtures of civility. Your influence, no doubt.
Do I want to hear what happened?
A qunari delegate and entourage paid me a visit. It was civil, tentative, hopeful. They left my chambers with precision, but were not reported by the outer guard. They are missing almost literally from my doorstep. What do you imagine will be the Arishok's reaction?
Do the qunari generally keep you updated?
Qunari do not disappear. They know we watch, and they are not shy about their movement. Speak to Seneschal Bran. He has details that show how damning this is.
You have information about the missing qunari?
I am to help you, yes. Viscount Dumas would appreciate discretion in this matter. I would prefer that you were not involved at all. But that is neither here nor there.
I'm having a hard time picturing the abduction of a qunari entourage.
Unfortunately, they were not at their best. Their swords were tied into their sheaths, as I advised. It seemed a respectful compromise. Even I know you cannot separate a qunari from his weapon.
Has anyone reported this to the qunari?
Maker, no. I'd be signing the messenger's death warrant. He'll find out soon enough, of course. And when he does, the Viscount is rightly concerned that the illusion of peace will dissolve.
The Arishok is growing violent. He might want an excuse to end this peace.
I suspect that if the Arishok wanted to take over, he simply would. For all we fear that heretical Qun of his, its demands have done more to keep him in check than any of our efforts. Besides, would qunari stoop to trickery? There is no precedent, but there is unfortunate evidence of influence on our side.
It sounds like you don't want them found.
I must think of what is best for the Viscount's office. Bringing attention to such an incident benefits no one.
You would do nothing.
The qunari are neutral hostiles at best. There is no relationship to salvage by overextending ourselves on their behalf.
So where would you start, if you were the starting type?
I would begin with the most obvious failure. It's clear the City Guard has no excuse for allowing this, unless they were involved.
Have any failed to report?
Several. You should start with one of them. Although where you find a swordsman so eager to sell his honor and duty, I'm sure I don't know.
The Hanged Man.
Hanged Man.
Got to be.
A lot of coin for this place.
That's right, pal. Tonight I'm paid and blessed, and all I had to do was turn my head. To all my friends. Hey, step back. I know important people. We're gonna show this city what to do with heathen oxmen.
Guard Captain, would you like to have a word with your man?
Guard captain?
Who?
What?
Who?
Who what? I don't...
Who bought you? Who bought the honor of a proud guard of Krikwall and made him a drunken Mabari bitch?
I don't know. He was a Templar, I swear. He had the seal of the Grand Cleric and everything. It's true.
The penalty for abandoning your post is 10 days on the wall. I expect you to report in the morning. There's your answer. A Templar.
With the Grand Cleric's seal, no less. Well done.
So you're taking the Captain of the Guard to accuse the Grand Cleric of funding zealots?
Don't forget the kidnapped qunari. That too.
Some days, Hawke.
The Grand Cleric, please. Tell her... 3 qunari leave an estate. And let her finish.
Sarah Hawke.
Sister Patrice.
Mother Patrice. Time has changed us both. Grand Cleric Elfina cannot grant an audience to just anyone. What do you want?
Funny how you and issues with the qunari seem to go together.
And you always assume their side. I was naive when last we met. I did not want you dead, but I felt a death was necessary. That may be too fine a point for you to understand. But you must admit, you came out the better for it.
A qunari delegate has disappeared. She may have ordered it.
That is quite an accusation. Ridiculous, of course. She leads a great many people, but not as a commander.
A Templar used her seal to convince others the act was righteous. A pause that says you knew. But does her grace?
The Grand Cleric trusts her stewards to enact the wishes of the Maker.
It sounds like you've been bad. This will shock her grace, no doubt.
Stubborn. All right, Sarah Hawke. If you won't abandon this, let me offer you something. The Templar you seek is a radical who has grown unreliable. Confronting him may do us all a favor.
And his relation to you is?
He is my former bodyguard, Ser Von El. Assume what you wish, but I offer him to you as reconciliation. Meet me at this location. I invite you, Sarah Hawke. Come see the unrest these qunari have inspired.
Need I say I'm skeptical?
It's her game, for the moment.
Forgive me, Your Grace.
To set up a wedding for that daughter of hers, which chases off suitors faster.
So, I never expected to be palling around with the captain of the guard.
We're not pals.
We're not? What about that time we painted each other's toenails?
Do you want something?
Love, life, and liberty. What more does a man need?
You're in a jolly mood.
Well, when you're here, I know you're not leading men into Darktown to arrest me. Nice place for a rally. Good choice, Varnell.
Patrice is here somewhere.
Wonderful.
Like any beast, remove the fangs and it is lost. They are weak before the faithful of the Maker. The only certainty in their precious qun is death before the righteous.
Sir Varnell!
Take a knee, faithful. The Chantry blesses us.
You claim a blessing when you have used the authority of the Grand Cleric so openly? You have brought wrath down upon you. You remember Hawke? The qunari have friends, Templar. How will you answer their allegations?
You want to fight? Face someone whose weapons are not bound.
Templars are cowards. They only pick on those whose lives they already hold in their hands.
Righteous! Destroy them!
Get back! Useless! Not doing anything! Not I can't keep this pace. It's all right.
All right. Time to bring this mess to the Viscount's attention.
Madness! Madness!
That's a word for it.
Chantry involvement. Even if they are fringe elements. Oh, it could not be worse.
The Chantry has seen the abuses the Templars get away with. Why would they not think to do the same?
You killed them? All of them?
A mother serving the Grand Cleric allowed this to happen.
Are you quite sure? She held a blade with them? Told them to fight you?
No, I cannot say that.
Of course not. Blasted mother. You have no idea the storm these allegations would cause. It would destroy what support I do have.
I have had trouble with her before. She is slippery.
I understand. I will make my inquiries, gently, and you should be careful in your associations. For now, we have other problems. We have the delegate, but I can't return the bodies to the qunari in this state. Sir Hawke, you know the Arishok. What should I do?
Hiding this would only make it worse.
It would, wouldn't it? I'm losing my sense of how to balance this nightmare. I appreciate your help in this matter. As bad as this is, it could have been much worse without you. Krikwall owes you. I owe you.